Hey guys, this is Rick. I hope everyone's having a great day. This is my little planning session that I'm going to have for my allotment. All of my bulbs have arrived for the allotment. I've got a load of random, what do you call them, like spring flower bulbs. I've got some spring green tulips and some daffs and some these other types of tulips, very nice looking, and I've got loads of those downstairs as well, and so they've all got to go in, and all of my garlic and onions have also arrived, and all the chicken manure has arrived as well, and all the other little bits and bobs that I've been waiting to arrive, they're all here now. So what I've done is I've created one of these. This is a standard sheet that I can print out at any time. This is actually drawn to scale from the map that I was initially given, and it's, well, as you can see, this is the allotment. Here's the shed, here's the composting area, and what I've done is I've divided up like little walkways. This is where I walk. I'll show you on this one. It's got a few more bits in, and what I've done is I've given each bed a number. So the bed outside the shed there is going to be bed number 1. Obviously the one to the side is number 2, number 3 here, number 4, and number 5. This is the area where all the rubbish was, and a little bit. This is obviously the road here. This is where I park my van, and I've got half of that area there. So what I need to do is divide up the allotment into, what I've decided to do is 4 beds and a miscellaneous bed. The idea of 4 beds is you have a crop rotation on a 4-year basis, and what I've decided to do is to do crop rotation. Bed 1 this year is going to be my alliums, which is things like onions, garlic, shallots, leeks, spring onions, courgettes, marrows, pumpkins, etc. So anything of that nature is going to be planted in this bed here. Then we've got bed number 2 is going to be the how do you pronounce that? Is it legumes or legumes? I don't know. Anyway, that's things like bees, peas, and then other miscellaneous things like sweet corn and things. So technically my beans and peas should be in bed number 2 at this area. Now bear in mind, I have next door's got a big shed, and that's going to be casting a shadow over part of this area, because basically the sun rises over here, sets over here. I think he sort of rises in the east, sets in the west, so a lot of the time anything planted on this side that's tall is going to cast a shadow, almost a bit like the shadow that my finger's casting. So I've got to be careful with shadows. So things like runner beans, I know I said I need to do my drills that way in order for the irrigation of the water, because there's a slope. But in order for those runner beans not to cast a shadow, I'm going to have to drill them that way, or maybe even that way, so they're directly due south. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of I'm still sussing that out, so I'm open to any ideas. Now bed 3 is going to be root crops this year, so that's things like beetroots, carrots, celeriac, potato, tomatoes or tomatoes if you're in America, peppers, aubergines, things like that. That's going to be in this bed here. And finally, bed 4 is going to be my brassicas, and that's things like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbages, cauliflowers, and believe it or not, radish, swede and turnip are also considered brassicas. I didn't know that, so that's because I'm using this book called Allotment Gardening for Dummies. It's a really good book. It's a really good read, quite entertaining as well. Anyway, so that leaves bed number 5. And in bed 5, that's my miscellaneous bed. And what I'm thinking of doing this year, because of all the rubbish and stuff that's in there, was growing sunflowers. How delightful would that be if that was just one large area full of big bright yellow sunflowers? So that's the kind of thinking I've got going on there. Quite whether I do the full amount of sunflowers or maybe just the back end sunflowers, and then something in the front, perhaps even these spring bulbs. Of course, one of the fundamental errors that I made regarding buying spring bulbs was I wanted to attract bees. Well, of course, if you think about it, I didn't think about it at the time, but the spring bulbs come out in sort of early, you know, sort of springtime, you know, March, April time, of course there's not many bees around at that time of year, so they're all going to be died off before they're going to have any chance of attracting any bees. So these are just going to really be for sort of aesthetic use only. So what I was thinking was perhaps putting the flowers, you know, the tulips and things, perhaps up by the shed, maybe in just a row, just to mark off the border, bearing in mind next door's shed is going to cast shadows here anyway, so I'm not going to be out of, it's not going to be a very productive area here, not well, I'd say at least not in this corner. So I could put the flower bulbs there, could maybe even just run them around the back of the shed, although that would be a bit pointless really. I could also put them in the front here just to kind of mark out the pathway. I don't know, what do you think? Where should I put my bulbs, my spring bulbs, my flowers? I could put them in front of the compost heap maybe. Don't know on that one. I'm just kind of, the jury's out on that. Of course, what I do have to bear in mind is if I want to get the rotavator anywhere, I don't want to kind of have to trample them all down in order to get it there. So these are all things I have to take into consideration. So I'm kind of just thinking if I put my flower bulbs up there, it's kind of in an out of the way area, and I'm not going to be sort of constantly walking through there and trampling around there, so they're in much less danger of being hit than if I incorporate them into the sort of main plot. So anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. It's Friday afternoon now. It's only about 3:30. It's so dark outside, it's crazy. But I'm hoping to, obviously tomorrow is Saturday, so I'm hoping that I'm going to spend most of the day there throwing in these bulbs and the garlic and the onions. Obviously the onions and the garlic, what I'm intending to do is put them in rows that way. I know originally I said I want to go that way, but bearing in mind the light, I think it's going to pay to put them in that way. And what I'll do is I'll put them in rows going across like that, and then every now and again I've got some thin strips of carpet which are literally about that wide, and I can put those down as walkways. Incidentally, did you see that? That was that was a little present from Zero Sister. She made this humorous drawing, which is awesome. Anyway, that's where I'm at today. So I'm not quite sure exactly where I'm going to put these bulbs yet, but I will be deciding that over tonight. And if anyone's got any feedback or any ideas where I could put the flower bulbs, that would be useful. And any other comments before I get cracking tomorrow, Saturday. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon.